Hello there, my fellow outlaws. What's up? It's Robbie here with Open World Games, and check this out. Brand new screenshots of Red Dead Redemption 2. There are a ton of them. Plus, we're going over a 45-minute private gameplay demonstration that was shown to IGN. And yes, what you are seeing here is John Marston. So this is a new look at John Marston, and we're going to get into some of the other screenshots as well, and then talk about some of the new gameplay features, and then other things about the open world, the map. There's some details about the map as well. But if you want to, you could check out IGN's article about all of this and their breakdown. They don't show gameplay, unfortunately, but they did reveal some really cool screenshots, which of course, show off just how beautiful and breathtaking this world is going to be. I cannot freaking wait. One thing I don't really worry about with Rockstar games is downgrade, so I really do think this is going to be representing what we can expect from the game when it finally launches, which will be October 26th, guys, so mark that on your calendars. Alright, so the 45-minute demonstration shows Morgan on the outskirts of Dutch's camp in the landscape of New Hanover and the town of Valentine, where a bank heist will go underway. We'll be talking about the actual bank heist, which you can see right here, in just a moment. So details on that were on offer from IGN, so look forward to that. But let's move on here. So expect to be running into deer, bears, and all sorts of wildlife to hunt around the open world, of course. Now, the camp itself is going to be a makeshift camp, and it's going to be comprised of wagons and tents, and is the foundation on which the gang is built, a place where Dutch, Arthur, and the other gang members can just relax and take it easy and reflect on the day. Now, there will be multiple camps, by the way, and you can expect to move the camp, migrate through the open world as the heat begins to build and becomes more intense as you take on heists. So yeah, bounty hunters will come after you, the law will come after you, so you have been warned as you go through the open world, take on side activities, take on, main missions, which sound like they will revolve around, criminal activity. Yeah, bounty hunters will come for you. Now, IGN went on to describe the map as follows. Finally, some new details about this. They said this: what we saw is apparently only a tiny part of the game. New Hanover is just a small area in a much larger world, one that stretches from the snowy wastelands of the north to the swamps to the south, taking in settlements and a sprawling city in between. So there is some sort of big city, it sounds like, kind of nestled in the center of the map. They said similarly, excuse me, the camp we saw is just one that'll be in the game, and as outlaws on the run in the Vanderland gang will be forced to move on when heat gets too much, which I just described to you. End quote on that one. Now, they did go on to describe some of the things you can expect when running into, NPCs and, other people that are just out and about in the open world. So NPCs in Red Dead Redemption 2 are apparently super realistic. This is like simulation type stuff. They have a purpose. Everything they do has a reason, and they're all on a schedule. They basically go to work, play, and do other things. Now, dependent on the NPCs you interact with, they're going to be more passive or aggressive towards your action. For example, here they gave, as we see Arthur Morgan heading by this farm, this guy actually told Arthur Morgan to back off, get away from the farm. He was kind of more aggressive. And then they also gave some other, indications that if you run up to, another gang member or something like that, or someone that's in, a seedier area of town, they may react by just pulling out their pistol if you piss them off. So it depends on their personality, and each civilian will be given a personality. And of course, they did describe that the game looks absolutely downright stunning, which goes without saying, I think. I think you can obviously tell that this is going to be one heck of a looker. Their engine definitely does not disappoint at all. We'll be getting into the heist in just a moment. I know a lot of you are dying to know more about the heist for sure. But let's talk a little bit more about the gang and the gang members. Of course, you've got John Marston, who's in there. Got to see some new screenshots of him. We're going to be seeing Sean McQuarrie, who is a cheery Irish joker, and he's going to be telling stories around the campfire, of course, with enthusiasm. Now, John Marston's uncle is going to be returning, it sounds like. He's going to be a hungover wreck, and he's usually slumped against a barrel or something like that and mutters as you walk by in the camp. There are others, of course, who are going to be in their own conversations, including Williamson, Lenny, and Karen. Now, they're discussing this bank heist that they can undertake and heading to the town of Valentine. So they're very interested in that one, and they really want to get that going, of course, and get the heist underway. One thing that IGN mentioned about the camp, let's pull up that one screenshot of the hunting here, is that you will have the option to basically please the camp. They confirmed that Arthur Morgan is Dutch's right-hand man and is responsible for keeping the camp happy, meaning he needs to go out in the world and lead expeditions for resources, which is going to include things like food. And I don't know about water, though. Now, the demo showed off Arthur hunting for rabbits and deer. We got to see some screenshots of, a wolf here. And then they did end up running into a bear, a la Revenant style. Can you imagine that? Yeah, bears are going to be back. And I know a lot of you are thinking to that zombie DLC, Undead Nightmare. Will we see that? I'll let you guys know what happens with the DLC, of course. Now, the demo did show off Arthur hunting for those deer and rabbits. Now, you can either attach them to your horse, as you can see here, and just skin them immediately, or you can, again, attach them to the horse and head back to your camp or go straight to a butcher in town. Now, what's really important is you can't be lingering around the open world too long, or you're going to have problems with the carcass actually rotting and the meat will become less valuable. Also, when hunting, it's going to be wiser to hunt with your bow and arrow as opposed to, a shotgun. The meat is going to be worth a lot more if it's fresh and, kind of unscathed. You don't want meat that's kind of riddled with bullets because that's going to be a problem when selling. It's going to be less, of a reward. Now, also, they did say that you'll be able to whistle while you hunt, which I guess will attract and distract some of these animals and startle them in a way. And that's a perfect way to keep them, like frozen in fear. At least that's what they described, which was definitely very, very interesting. But, if you do hunt successfully and you head back to your camp, then basically you'll keep everyone happy. You'll return with food, and then the mood will be reflected when you're in your camp. But if you don't have any food for them or anything like that, they're going to be pissed off, and that's going to be their personalities for the foreseeable future. This is all optional, by the way. It's not like they're forcing you into survival mechanics or anything like that. This is not a survival game. They were kind of clear about that. They also said that, yes, the camp just keeps going on without you. Now, IGN went on to say Rockstar is trying to blur the lines between what's a story mission and what's a side quest instead of presenting them all as opportunities given to Arthur. Many are contextual too, depending on the time of day, where you are, and who you're with. So that's what they said about side activities and basically dynamic events, that it actually depends on, if the sun is setting or if it's at nighttime. Makes sense. You may expect to see some more criminal activities at nighttime. That would actually make a lot of sense for sure. And that's something I absolutely love. It sounds like it's going to be pretty dynamic. So I'm curious to see what type of secrets are within this game just based on who we have beside us as we head out into the open world. Now you have complete control over how Arthur acts in the world, thanks to a sophisticated interaction system represented by a number of choices displayed in the bottom right of the screen, such as greet or antagonize. So there's these new tools that you can use to actually greet people or anything like that. Now, these dynamically change depending on a number of factors, including where you are, who you're talking to, choices you've made previously in the interaction, and so on. And even though most of the HUD was switched off for the demonstration, it was still obvious how much freedom the player was given, as IGN has said here. So if you do approach someone with your gun drawn, like we see here, expect problems to arise. It depends on also who you are drawing your gun to, I guess you would say. So if it is a civilian, they're going to cower And if it is, another gang member or opposing gang, they're going to just start opening up fire and trying to kill you. So, yeah, expect some resistance in this game for sure, which, again, as we can see here, here's some of the trailer. It looks absolutely stunning, and I just cannot wait to see more from this. And, especially, more from Taming Horses and the open world. But, yeah, let's dive into more of this stuff right now. Let's talk about the horses here and more about, the breeds, the personalities, because apparently each horse will have their own personality. Rockstar wants you to think of them as a true companion more than just, a transportation device. They want you to grow to love your horse and vice versa. So when you first get your horse, they're basically going to be a horse that is untamed. They're going to be wild, but the longer you have your horse, the more tame they're going to be, the more they're going to follow your orders and stuff like that and know what you're talking about. So that's great. Now, with horse breeds, each horse breed will offer their own strengths and weaknesses, and we'll have to discover those as time moves on, as we get into the actual game ourselves, when it releases finally on October 26th. But I know a lot of you guys are dying for information about the bank heist. So, Robbie, talk about this bank heist. Bill, Karen, and Lenny and Arthur all head out into the town of Valentine in the 45-minute demonstration. And this is going to be home to a smaller population, but it's also home to a railroad. Now, Karen is going to be playing the distraction. She's going to be heading into the bank. With her shirt unbuttoned, playing as the drunk, stumbling around in the bank, which is really quite something else. And then Bill, Lenny, and Arthur will be pulling out their neckerchiefs over their face, and they will go in with their weapons drawn and ready for the action. So basically, you have a cast of colorful characters, and each one of them are going to be handling situations differently, dependent on their personalities, of course. So let me get a screenshot back up of the actual gang here on their horses for you. Here they are riding into the sunset. Now, the heist will actually break out into an entire horse chase, which is really cool. Now, let's go back to the description here. Here is the gang, of course, and on horseback, a lot of the gang members that I have been mentioning here. So, Arthur eventually does pistol whip the bank manager, demanding to get inside the vault. Now, there are several options when he does end up inside the bank. You have the option to blow the safe up with dynamite, or, take the quiet option and basically, blow it. I mean, not blow it open. That's not the quiet option. Go in there and lockpick it. So crack open the safe. They decided to actually blow it open, and this alerts the sheriff and lawmen in the area. And of course, a firefight breaks out, and a lot of chaos happens. And then eventually, what happens is, that chase ensues on horseback. So they actually have to go engage the lawmen from horseback. And as you can see in the distance here, there is a train. Now, that's going to be the way the gang actually gets out. They cut across the train, and then the train goes over the tracks. And, of course, between them is, between the lawmen and the gang is the train, and they get away. You can use the train, it sounds like, to really get away from a lot of lawmen in this game, which is really cool. All right, so moving on, a really cool tidbit during the actual firefight that they mentioned. I thought this was so freaking cool. Is that one of the lawmen actually shot off Arthur Morgan's hat. This is not scripted at all. This happens, and once your hat is off and lost, you can either go back for it or lose it, basically. And if your hat is missing, it'll be reflected in upcoming cinematics and stuff like that. So it sounds like your hat is kind of an Indiana Jones type thing. You're going to want to go after it. Maybe we'll be getting new hats as time progresses as well. So that's a really, really neat tidbit. And here's some more those screenshots again of John Marston. So Yeah, the actual demonstration was super focused on the single player, and I know a lot of you guys are probably also asking about the open world multiplayer offering, and a lot of you guys don't care about that. You love single player, as I do, of course. But yeah, there is going to be an extensive open world multiplayer offering, as they did confirm in the entire article from IGN. Again, you can check that out in the description below. But yes, Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out on October 26th on PS4 and Xbox One. Look forward to it. I will keep you up to date about any news about the PC version, of course, so stay tuned. You know, they're probably going to do the same thing they did with GTA 5. Just release it like 6 months to a year later on PC. Get everyone from the Xbox One and PS4 to reorder and make double the monies, I guess you would say, which I guess is a very smart tactic. But hopefully the PC version, you know, comes more polished and with additional cool stuff with it. But yeah, this game looks absolutely stunning. I can't freaking wait. October 26th. Can't get here soon enough. But going to do further breakdowns here in the future. There were some additional details that I can't wait to get into. So don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel, guys, and look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Red Dead Redemption 2 and more open world gaming goodness right here on Open World Games. And I will see you guys next time.